What is up guys, and welcome to a new video. In this video I'll be showing you the best settings for OBS using Castr. Now I use Castr to stream to Theta, Twitch, Facebook, and Trovo all at the same time. So for me, I'm using the exact same settings for all the platforms and it's working completely fine. No issues on the viewer's end, no issues on my end. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do, which settings, and what is my internet speed so you can compare yours to mine and make sure that everything is going to be smooth. Now, first off, I'll be using OBS. Even if you're using something like Streamlabs OBS, it should be very similar. All you have to do is to go to your settings, as you can see on the screen, and then from there you click on the output section. Now on the output tab on the left side, once you click it, you'll see a few tabs on the top. We will be using the streaming tab. Now because I'm already recording this, some of the stuff are grayed out, but in your case you should be able to choose from. Now after you click on the streaming, you will see the output mode on the top. By default it is on simple. You have to change this to advanced, so you click on here and then you change it to advanced, and from there you will see all the settings that I have on your screen. Now after that you will be going to the encoder. Now the encoder is either your CPU or GPU. Most of the time people are going to be using the GPU. You usually have two options, the NVIDIA NVENC and the X264. Now the NVIDIA NVENC is your GPU and the X264 is your CPU. Now everything above 1080 and even below, you should be able to see the NVIDIA and you should be able to choose it from. In some cases, you would need to use your CPU because your GPU is not strong enough. But most of the cases, you will be using the NVIDIA, and I would say you should start with the NVIDIA before trying the CPU. So you start with the NVIDIA, and then you go to Rescaled Output. Now, I don't want you to tick the Enforce Streaming Service Encoder. This is something that I do. But in your case, I would say you should tick the Rescale Output. And I would recommend you to start using the 1280 by 720 instead of 1080. You might be wondering why. I'll tell you why. Because most platforms like Twitch and Theta, for example, and even maybe Trovo, they would not allow you to stream in 1080 unless you're a partner or unless you've hit specific requirements. So it's best off to start with 720, as this will allow you to stream on every platform without any issues. And even me, I'm using the 720 without any issues on my end and without any issues on the viewer's end. Everything is crisp, everything is working fine, and there is no drops at all. Now after that we go to the rate control. Make sure you click on CBR. Make sure you click on the exact one that I have, the CBR. Nothing else from here, just the CBR. And now the bitrate. Now the bitrate is a little bit tricky to find out because first of all what you have to do is you have to test your upload speed. Now you can go to Google and just type internet speed test and go to the first site you get, and then you have to check your upload speed. And from there you can decide. Now I would say anything above 10 upload should be fine to stream with. Anything below 5, I would recommend you to upgrade your internet as you might be facing issues while streaming. Now I'll tell you exactly how much of bitrate you need according to what settings you'll be choosing, like the FPS and the output. But before we do that, let me just proceed with everything else and then we'll go back to the bitrate. So don't worry, we're going back to the bitrate and I'll help you choose the best bitrate you can choose from. Now after the bitrate, you will go to the keyframe. By default, I believe it's 0, so in our case, we have to change it to 2. 2 works fine with Twitch, 2 works fine with Theta, and almost every platform that I'm streaming to, no issues so far. As for the preset, this also depends on your GPU and on your PC or desktop, PC or laptop, depending on how strong it is. Now, I would recommend you to start off with quality, but if you see that your GPU is struggling, which you can see later on your OBS, it will give you the stats as why you're getting FPS drop, whether it's to your network or whether it's to your GPU or CPU. If you guys don't know how to show the stats, let me know. I'll do a tutorial on that as well, on how you can see the stats and what's causing the drops. Now you start off with quality. If you see it's not working off good for you, I would recommend you go down to performance or even max performance. Now, obviously, the higher up you go, the more GPU you need. In my case, quality is working fine, but I have the 2070 Super. When I used to stream on my laptop, I used to have the 1050, and I used to use a max performance without any issues. As for the profile, you either use high or main. For me, I use main because I believe high sometimes causes a little bit of FPS drops for me. I don't know, maybe it's my internet that is not perfect, or my GPU. So I keep it on main and I have no issues at all. I untick the look ahead. Obviously, you can see what those are by moving your mouse on the question mark. Turn on the Psyche visual tuning. Make sure the GPU is set to 0 and the max B-frames are set to 2. Now, after we're done here, we're going to go to the video section. Don't worry, we're going back to bitrate. I'm just finishing up with the rest before we go back to the bitrate. Now, the video here, as you can see, is grayed out because I'm already recording this video. In your case, the base resolution is your monitor resolution. So this is what your monitor is. Depending on your monitor, you select the resolution of that. The output resolution is what we already set in the output here. The rescale output is what the viewer is gonna see. As for the downscale filter, I would recommend you to use the Lanczos sharpened scaling 36 samples. And for the FPS, we either go with 30, 45, or 60. Now this again depends on your upload speed and your GPU. So back to our bitrate and FPS and our resolution all in one, I'll show you. So what you can do here, I'll show you. I have a notepad with everything here. Okay, my camera, nice. Let me just move this a little bit here. There we go. Away from my camera. So what's happening here is, so if you want to stream on 1080 with 60 FPS, that's like the full HD and the high frame rate, you would need definitely more than constant 8 Mbps without any issues. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, even 8 is not gonna work it, but some people say it's working fine. For me, I have 50 download and 50 upload. So, and with that, I'm using 4000. So if you have a very good upload speed and a very good GPU card, you can set the frame rates to 60, put it on 1080, and the bitrate, the recommended bitrate is from 4500 to 6000. You can stop this video here to read all these and see which one works best for you. I use the 72060 and I have my bitrate set to 4000. This is what I use. My upload speed is 40 to 50. So I have noise at all, 720, 4000 bitrate, everything is beautiful. The viewers have no issues watching my videos, no lags, no drops, nothing. So I feel this is the sweet spot for most people starting out with streaming and they're not like big or huge enough to like, go all in. So this is what I use and this is what I recommend for most people. Now, if you still want to go with 1080 and you don't play games that require a lot of FPS, you can use this setting right here. You get the full HD, but with a little bit less FPS. 30 FPS is not bad at all, trust me. I used to use 30 FPS on Fortnite, so yeah, wasn't the best, but I mean, people didn't complain that much. Again, the bitrate is going to be the same from 3500 to 5000. So this mostly depends on your GPU. So less GPU, better internet as well. So you also have the other one here with 720 30 FPS. So if your internet is a little bit struggling and your GPU is struggling, you will get HD here with a standard frame rate. A lot of people might not have a good internet, so this might also be a good starting point. But if you would, my advice is to start here, and then if everything is perfectly fine, you can actually move up to this one. And if you see that this one is struggling, go back to this. So this should be the perfectly fine settings for almost everyone. Like your upload speed, if it's above 5, you should be fine with this one. So I would recommend you start off with this one. And if everything is smooth, no drops, nothing, it's perfectly fine, and you feel like you can actually up your game, go to this one. And if your internet is really bad and it's like barely hitting the 5 or like barely going above 5, this would be your go-to, although this is not, people would not enjoy it as much, but this is another solution. It's the 480 pixel with 60 frames. The bitrate is from 1500 to 2500. But again, start off with this one and then jump to this one. And this one could be according to how you feel, like if you think you should go with this one. But yeah, this is almost everything, I believe. So make sure you keep this with you whenever you try it out. This is going to be your go-to point. And this is everything you need from the output and video. And if you want in the audio, make sure your sample rate is set to 48 for the best audio quality you can get. That is it for this video. This video was 10 minutes and I was talking a bit fast. Sorry about that. I just don't want to make it a very long video. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, make sure to write them down below. I'll do my best to answer you. And check the description for a link for Castr services. You can join us with a 1-week free trial and 50% off now on Black Friday. So get it while it lasts. And have a good rest of the night. Peace out.